a setback in our fight against climate change. That is how the United Nations has described a decision by the US Supreme Court. In a landmark ruling, the court has limited the US government's ability to control carbon emissions from power plants. It marks a victory for the coal industry and parts of America fighting energy regulation. And it's a major blow to President Biden's plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Tonight, the president said the ruling risked damaging America's ability to keep the air clean and combat climate change. From Washington, here's our North America editor, Sarah Smith.
In California today, wildfires burning out of control are a vivid reminder of the urgent need to take action on climate change. America is a large part of the problem, the second biggest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world after China. But also a victim. You can see from the waterline above the vast Lake Mead how much it's shrunk in recent years, impacting the water supply for millions of people in the southwest. President Biden came into office pledging to lead a global effort to reduce carbon emissions, promising at the COP summit in Glasgow last year to lead by example.
Will we act? Will we do what is necessary? Will we seize the enormous opportunity before us? Or will we condemn future generations to suffer?
Future generations may not thank the US Supreme Court for a decision today that restricts the federal government's ability to regulate energy producers. The Supreme Court ruling makes it much harder for Joe Biden to try to meet his climate change goals. The court has decided the Environmental Protection Agency does not have the authority to impose carbon limits unless there is new legislation coming from Congress. And that's something Joe Biden knows he just does not have enough votes to get passed. Coal lies at the heart of the problem. America still relies heavily on this most polluting fossil fuel to keep the lights on. The Supreme Court case was brought by 19 mostly Republican states that were worried they could be forced to move away from using coal to generate electricity. Those are states that contribute an outsized share of Americans' carbon emissions and have done little so far to reduce them. California's majestic landscape is particularly vulnerable to the effects of climate change. A Democrat-run state, it's spending billions, more than most countries, to protect the environment. But that effort will be undermined by today's Supreme Court ruling.
The idea that the U.S. Supreme Court moved to take away one of the most significant and historically powerful tools to address the ravages of climate change is incomprehensible.
In the states that won this case, they are celebrating a ruling that gives them a right to make their own rules on carbon emissions, rather than be told what to do by Washington. And they say it will prevent a rise in the price of electricity. President Biden today said that he will continue to try and use every regulatory power he can to cut carbon emissions, and he lashed out at what he called a devastating decision from the Supreme Court that aims to take our country backwards. He's angry because this very conservative court that has a conservative majority has made a number of contentious decisions in the last couple of weeks, including removing the constitutional right to abortion and making it easier to carry guns in the streets. Now, those are decisions which, of course, will have a very real effect on the lives of millions of Americans. This environmental ruling will have global impact, not only because it will inhibit America's ability to cut its own carbon emissions, but it's also going to diminish its ability to lead the world on climate change as well. And that's one of the things President Biden is most worried about.